Hello everybody, welcome to Live Interactive English. I am Shane.
And I am Karen. Today we're looking at part 1 of the Wonders of Reykjavik?
Reykjavik, yeah.
What is that word, Shane? I don't know that word.
Reykjavik is a place. It's the capital city of Iceland.
Iceland? Iceland? Like the place that's really, really cold?
Like a land made of ice. Iceland, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I know that just hearing the name, you are going to have no interest in traveling there.
Well, you know, I love tropical islands, right? I
know.
love going to the beaches, enjoying, you know, spending time in the ocean. So, Iceland?
Yeah, but okay, well, I know something that I think you do like.
What is it?
Hot springs.
They have hot springs in Iceland?
Yeah. You like hot springs, right?
I do. So are you talking about like having the hot spring like outdoors?
Right. You can do outdoor hot springs. So even though it's cold out there, you're in the hot water, so you don't feel the cold, but you can see your breath. And maybe you're out during the nighttime and you can just see the stars.
Okay, that sounds really cool. So is that kind of like the ones in Japan, you know, where you can have hot springs outdoors and you can watch the monkeys? No, I never.
I have.
Have you?
It's awesome. Yeah.
Really?
I went to the one in Japan and there was like monkeys bathing in the hot springs. I wasn't bathing with them. I wasn't like,
Oh, so you're kind of watching the monkeys in the hot springs.
Yeah, okay, we're not talking about monkeys in hot springs, just hot springs in Iceland, okay?
Okay.
So there are some great things, but we're going to even learn more about the wonders of Reykjavik, okay?
Okay, I guess I should learn more. It's not just all cold, right?
Right, you will be convinced.
You sure?
Me. I'm positive.
Okay, let's get into it.
Let's go.
Reykjavik offers a unique travel experience for those looking for rare scenery, plentiful attractions, and interesting building design. But these features are just the tip of the iceberg of what makes the northernmost capital in the world worth learning about. The capital of Iceland is located on the southwest corner of the island, with the beautiful Mount Esja to its north. Though this scenic location may seem intentional, according to legend, it was chosen completely by chance. As the story goes, when the first settlers arrived, they dropped pillars off their boat into the ocean. They decided to build their settlement wherever those pillars washed up onto the shore.
So we're looking at part 1 of the Wonders of Reykjavik today, right? So you're going to show me what a great place Iceland is.
Well, we're going to be learning a little bit about the history first.
Okay.
So you might not be convinced at first. We're just going to learn a little bit about the background, but be patient, okay?
Okay, I will. I just don't like the cold, you know?
Okay. Well, hopefully this will warm you up to the idea of Reykjavik.
Okay.
So, Reykjavik offers a unique travel experience for those looking for rare scenery, plentiful attractions, and interesting building design.
Okay, well, I am interested in those things as well.
Okay.
So we're talking about the word scenery, right? Scenery is our first vocabulary word, and that is a noun. So basically, scenery just means the view that you can enjoy, usually in nature. Like you go for a ride, and then you might enjoy the scenery. Oh, I see beautiful mountains, I see beautiful lakes, right?
So it's kind of like what you can see out in nature.
Exactly.
You won't say the scenery in my home is beautiful. That would be kind of weird, right?
That's right. So in our example sentence, it says, I spent most of the 3-hour train ride taking in the scenery. So that's another way to say that you enjoy the scenery by taking it in.
Take it in through your eyes.
That's right. Okay, I do love, you know, the beautiful scenery. Okay, so let's continue. But these features are just the tip of the iceberg of what makes the northernmost capital in the world worth learning about. So we're talking about just the tip of the iceberg. So basically that just means that it's just a very, very little things of what's yet to come, right?
Iceberg is just what you see above the water, but in fact the rest of the iceberg, there's all under there. So you just see the tip of it over the water.
That's right. And you think, okay, maybe it's just only a little bit good. But actually, there's a lot of things for you to discover.
It goes much deeper.
That's right. So we use this expression a lot.
Right, so we're going to learn something about it, okay? The capital of Iceland is located on the southwest corner of the island.
Southwest, okay.
With the beautiful Mount Esja to its north. Though this scenic location may seem intentional, according to legend, it was chosen completely by chance.
Oh, okay. So there's also a beautiful mountain called Mount Esja, right?
Right.
Ah, interesting. Okay, let's continue. As the story goes, when the first settlers arrived, they dropped pillars off their boat into the ocean. Okay, so we have this word settlers, right? So the first settlers, what does that mean?
Right, so a settler is somebody who moves from one country or territory or area to another one. And the idea there, it's like, you can't say I'm a settler, like I came here to Taipei from Los Angeles.
That's right.
But I can't say I'm a settler in Taipei. When you're a settler, you're going to go there to a place that doesn't have a lot of, there's no buildings or nothing is there yet, and you are going to develop it.
Ah, so you're going to start like a new place, right?
Right. So we're only going to hear about this when we're talking about history. There's not a lot of people who are settlers in modern times.
You're right.
So for example, you will say the settlers arrived here from Europe in the 1700s.
Ah, okay. That's a long, long time ago, right?
Right.
Got it.
So I'll keep reading. They decided to build their settlement wherever those pillars washed up onto the shore.
Ah, okay.
So they brought some materials to build their new city, or they were going to be settlers somewhere, so they brought all of those things. One of the things is pillars to build buildings. So they just dropped them from the boat and then just let the water take them to the shore.
Okay, so once they've taken them to the shore, then they can start building, right?
Right, so they just let it go by chance, right? They didn't really plan it. They just dropped them, and wherever they landed, that's where they built their settlement.
I see. You know, because I really don't know a lot about Iceland and Reykjavik, right? So I was doing some research on my phone, and I found out that actually the population is quite small.
Right.
There's not a lot of people in Iceland,
It
right?
seems like it would be quite peaceful if you go there.
That's right. And I guess if you're the type of person who enjoys a lot of space, you don't want to be in a really busy city, then I guess Iceland would be a really good place for you, right?
Right, that does have that idea. There's a lot of nature, and it's not going to be a city like Taipei, for example.
And it might be very slow because it's not very busy, right? Okay, well, let's take a short break and we'll be back to learn more about Reykjavik.
All right.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Tina。这次要介绍的旅游城市是 Reykjavik， 雷克雅维克，它是冰岛的首都。先补充一下 ，Iceland 就是冰岛，它是名词 ；Icelandic 形容词，冰岛的 ；Icelander 就指冰岛人了。说到冰岛，你可能会马上想到严寒的天气，不过那里其实有许多令人屏息的风景。而它的首都雷克雅维克，除了罕见的风景，还有丰富的景点和有趣的建筑设计，值得你去了解。这些特色只是冰山一角而已。当初第一批移居者选择这个城市，有一个说法是说，他们把柱子从船上扔进大海，决定以柱子被冲上岸的地方来建立他们的定居点。我们来看单字 scenery， 名词，景色、风景，它是不可以数的。它的形容词是 scenic， 形容词，风景优美的。Settler 在这里是指名词，来自于别国的移民、定居者。这边有5个重点，接着我们进入文法时间。
好，我们来看这个重点是 the tip of the iceberg，
字面意思是冰山一角，这用来描述某件事只是某个问题或是事件的一小部分。那后面还可以接 of 加上名词。举例来说 ，Those extreme weather events are just the tip of the iceberg of climate change。那些极端气候事件只是气候变迁的冰山一角。好，下一个重点是 which 疑问词，像 what、when、why、which、how 等等，可以引导名词子句。那这样的名词子句在句中，它可以当主词、受词或是主词补语用。举例来说 ，I wonder what the weather is like in Sydney at the moment。不知道现在雪梨的天气如何？哎，好，下一个重点是 make 加上受词，再加上形容词或名词，可以表达使某人事物成为怎么样，变得怎么样。make 在这边是指使成为，使变成。例如 ，The nasty comment made him angry。那则恶意的评论让他很生气。再来看到 be worth 加上名词或动名词，是可以表达值得怎么样的。像我们可以说 The novel is absolutely worth reading。那部小说绝对值得一看。再来我们看到 wash up。它是表达随着水流被冲上岸。那在美语当中呢，它是带有被动含义的不及物片语动词，用 wash up 就可以表达被冲上岸的意思哦。例如 ，A fishing net washed up on the beach。渔网被海浪冲到海滩上了。好，介绍课文中。
Another story says that the settlers chose the city's location for the warmth of the nearby hot springs. Indeed, the name Reykjavik can be translated as Bay of Smoke, a reference to the steam rising from the hot springs. These springs are naturally warmed by geothermal energy, which is used to provide low-cost heating to the residents of Iceland's largest city. In fact, most of the household water in Iceland is geothermally heated, so the people of Reykjavik have to wait for the water to cool down rather than heat up when taking a shower.
Welcome back, everybody.
So we are still learning about Reykjavik, right? The capital city of Iceland. So while we learned that it's got beautiful nature, beautiful scenery, and it's got wonderful hot springs, outdoor hot springs. So I guess, I'm a little bit convinced.
We're learning a little bit about the history of it.
That's right. Okay, well, let's continue to learn more and see. Maybe I'll pay a visit one day.
Okay. Please continue.
Another story says that the settlers chose the city's location for the warmth of the nearby hot springs. I would definitely make the same decision too.
Right, stay near the hot springs.
Exactly. Indeed, the name Reykjavik can be translated as Bay of Smoke, a reference to the steam rising from the hot springs.
Because when steam is coming up from a hot spring, it really does look like smoke.
You're right.
Have you ever been in
Bay of Smoke?
Have you ever been in Yangming Mountain? And there's some areas there. One that I can think of that when you're driving, you just see looks like a lot of smoke.
Oh, you think it's like fire or something, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't think it was fire, but I was wondering, what is that smoke? But then I realized, that's just steam coming up from the hot spring. But you can see it from quite far away. All right, so we have a vocabulary word, translate. So to translate something means you take something from one language, some words or phrases or ideas from one language, and you change them into another language. So why don't you translate this for me into Chinese?
Okay, I will try. I'm not very good though.
Is a wonderful teacher.
Karen 是一个非常好的老师. I just translated it.
So it doesn't always have to be true when you're translating something.
That is true.
No, it is true. It is true. So for example, you could say, while we're in France, I'll need you to translate for me because I don't speak French.
And that's usually true when you travel to a different country because you don't speak the language. Sometimes you would need someone to translate it for you, right?
Just use Google.
Oh, I guess you're right. You can also use Google.
Google it.
Okay, our next vocabulary word is steam, and that is a noun. Steam basically, in our today's case, it just means that the hot gas that is created when water is really, really hot. It's like water is evaporating. So, for example, the steam from the pot fogged up Milton's glasses. Oh, that happens a lot, especially when you are having hot pot and you are wearing glasses.
Oh, that always happens. But my glasses get fogged up in the MRT.
Oh, really?
Because you're wearing a mask.
Oh.
And you're wearing a mask, and then my glasses get fogged up.
That's
but
right.
Not because of steam. Well, it is kind of like hot air coming from my mouth, I suppose.
Exactly.
Right, let's continue reading. These springs are naturally warmed by geothermal energy, which is used to provide low-cost heating to the residents of Iceland's largest city.
That's right.
So geothermal energy. So if we look at this word geothermal, it just means heat from the earth. So geo, earth, thermal, heat.
Okay.
Right? So it's heat from the earth.
So it's like naturally, right? Natural heat.
Right.
Okay, I got it. In fact, most of the household water in Iceland is geothermally heated. So the people of Reykjavik have to wait for the water to cool down rather than heat up when taking a shower. Hey, that sounds really, really cool. I love that because when I'm taking a shower in the wintertime, I always have to wait for a long time for my water to heat up.
It wouldn't be very good in Taiwan in the summer if your water is hot. It's already hot because
you have to wait for a long time for it to cool down.
Right. But we were talking about this is quite interesting as I was doing a little research about Reykjavik. And some people who travel there, when they get there and they take a shower in one of the hotels, there's still a bit of sulfur smell, like from the hot spring water.
Okay.
So
sometimes you smell that too in Taiwan because we also have hot springs too, right?
All right, well, we have a vocabulary word here. Household. So household just means the people that live together in a house.
Okay.
Is a household. And if we're using it as an adjective, you're describing the people who live in a house. So you could say, for example, household expenses. So these are the expenses that you're going to have for the people who live in this household. Another example sentence, you can say, you can get rid of your bug problem with just a few household items.
Okay. I see. Well, we learned quite a lot about Reykjavik, right?
Yes.
And I think quite a lot of great things too. I mean, I really love the hot spring.
It sounds like that's your favorite part.
I don't
Reykjavik.
like the cold. I just really don't enjoy the cold. But yeah, I guess I will have to learn more.
We'll learn more in part 2.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
You still might need a little bit of convincing, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that's all for today, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
定居者会选择雷克雅维克的另一个说法是，因为附近有温泉，比较温暖。课文写到，雷克雅维克这个名字可以翻译成冒烟的海湾，它指的是从温泉升起的蒸汽，而这些泉水是由地热能自然加热。事实上，冰岛大部分的家庭用水都是地热加热的，所以雷克雅维克人洗澡时，他们是等水冷却，而不是等水变热，很有趣吧？我们来看单字 translate， 在这里是一个动词，翻译 steam 名词，蒸汽、水蒸气。Karen 老师提到 evaporate evaporate， 这是一个动词，挥发、消失。下一个单字 household， 在这里是形容词，家用的、家庭的。文中用到 geothermal， 在这里是形容词，地热的。Shane 老师有提到这个字的字首字根，我们来做一下补充。Geo G-E-O 这里指的是地球、土地。Thermal T-H-E-R-M-O 表示热的、温泉的。A-L 结尾是指形容词的结尾嘛？那么合在一起 geothermal 表示地热的。老师还提到了 sulfur， 在这里指的是硫磺。好啦，以上是今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Reykjavik offers a unique travel experience for those looking for rare scenery, plentiful attractions, and interesting building design. But these features are just the tip of the iceberg of what makes the northernmost capital in the world worth learning about. The capital of Iceland is located on the southwest corner of the island, with the beautiful Mount Esja to its north. Though this scenic location may seem intentional, according to legend, it was chosen completely by chance. As the story goes, when the first settlers arrived, they dropped pillars off their boat into the ocean. They decided to build their settlement wherever those pillars washed up onto the shore. Another story says that the settlers chose the city's location for the warmth of the nearby hot springs. Indeed, the name Reykjavik can be translated as Bay of Smoke, a reference to the steam rising from the hot springs. These springs are naturally warmed by geothermal energy, which is used to provide low-cost heating to the residents of Iceland's largest city. In fact, most of the household water in Iceland is geothermally heated, so the people of Reykjavik have to wait for the water to cool down rather than heat up when taking a shower.
Hey guys, I'm Ian.
And I'm Jamie.
And today we're playing a game called Word Drop, where we each have different words or phrases on these index cards that we've never seen before, and we're going to casually work them into a conversation right now. Ready? Okay, so I'm going to start. Okay. When I was young, and actually I was reading this book. No, I don't know if I read the book. I think my boyfriend read the book and he told me about the book. And then I think I read the book, but I didn't. But he's talking about in this book how like when you're young, it's hard for you to appreciate some things because like you just have like different ideas of what fun is. So I remember when I was younger, like my mom used to love like driving and looking at the fall foliage and like the East Coast and stuff. But I could never appreciate the scenery.
Oh, well, I think when you're older, yeah, you can appreciate the scenery more, you know, like little kids just want to play and whatever, right? But when you're older, you can like appreciate, wow, nice scenery. But yeah, I think that's something, speaking, you were mentioning the books actually. You know, one thing is that I've been trying to get better at Chinese. I'm trying to read Chinese books, but honestly, reading Chinese I think is more difficult than reading English. So sometimes I need somebody to help translate for me.
Oh yeah, that's definitely. I use Google Translate a lot here in Taiwan. There's everything. They're like, wow, your Chinese is not bad. I was like, no. And then but then sometimes Google Translate is quite weird. You know, they'll have like weird phrasing and words, and people are like, what do you mean? Like they'll get angry. I'm like, oh, sorry, it's Google Translate. But anyway, that's nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about now, which is that I love the sauna and sitting in the sauna and sweating because it's really good for detoxifying, and I also love the steam.
Oh, I like the steam too. Yeah, I think going to a spa, there's so many things you can do, right? Like, and I think the sauna is just one of the many things. And I think the sauna, it's supposed to like, yeah, detoxify, get rid of all like the bad stuff, and like also just make you maybe just relax because you can't, you know, be on your phone and stuff in there. So just make you take a break. But honestly, the sauna is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to spas.
And relaxation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I can imagine a place where there must have been very little relaxation, and this is probably like the 1800s or something in the US when people moved, when there was the gold rush and people moved to the Wild West, you know, like California gold rush and stuff, because can you imagine like having horses and buggies and like whatever disease they didn't have medicine for? I think all of those like settlers during that time didn't have a lot of relaxation.
Oh yeah, I think back then it was very hard for people because they didn't have a lot of relaxation and also just didn't have a lot of technology, right? They didn't have things that we have, such as household appliances, right? Makes life easier.
Yeah, it's very true. I'd love to get an air fryer. I just got a waffle maker.
See you next time!